Wow, they are really hitting today. How you doing?
Yeah,
I'm twitching a 6-inch worm through the stumps. How about you?
same.
Pumpkin seed or chartreuse?
Chartreuse.
That's a funny word. I wonder where they got that from.
France.
Yeah, guess it sounds like a French word. Any idea what the barometer's doing?
A woman will say 21 million words before an Evinrude E-Tech needs maintenance.
Fallen.
A man will say 7 million. Evinrude E-Tech. Spend more time on the water.
Man, they're really hitting today.
G'day, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Dennis.
We're from Band & Brothers Productions and we're about to take you at home on the trip of a lifetime. We brought our own boat, this 24-foot Caribbean real game, all the way up to Cooktown, from down in Sydney in New South Wales.
Yeah, we sure did. It was a 3,300 kilometre journey, a long journey on the back of a truck.
Now there's a lot of preparation and work that goes into a trip like this. It's been 2 years in the making and we want to show you at home just how you can do it too. So come and enjoy the ride.
It all started with Dennis and myself having a quiet drink at home, talking of our dreams of targeting giant black marlin on the Great Barrier Reef. We decided Cooktown in the far north Queensland town would be the best base to do it from. A few phone calls was all it took and our dream would soon become a reality. With the boys now pumped for our plans ahead, it was time to start preparing for the trip of a lifetime.
G'day guys, tonight we're at Watto's Fishing Tackle out at St Mary's. He's our local tackle supplier. He's going to be supplying us with some gear for our trip. What do you think, Dave?
Yep, we're here now. We're going to get some gear to make up our own rigs for scad, which we're going to catch for our bait up north. So let's go give it a go.
Yeah, let's go see Watto.
Going to need these downplaners.
Righto, so I see one's a little bit bigger than the other one. I imagine this one will go a bit deeper, Watto?
That's correct.
Righto, and this one just a little bit smaller, so I suppose this would stay near the surface more.
That's right, yeah. We've got some 100-pound leader.
Okay, yep.
We've got some 4.0 hooks here for you. And pink and green squid, they seem to be the gun colours for up north. So hopefully this will help you out for your trip.
No worries, so if we don't catch anything, we'll be coming to see you.
Come back and tell me all about the ones that you did catch.
No worries. Alright, Watto, mate, thank you very much. I appreciate all your help. Thanks for all the stuff. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, guys. I hope you have a great trip up north and look forward to seeing the footage from the movie that you're about to make.
Thanks again. Cheers.
This one.
It was now time to get serious. With our gear now organised, months worth of planning was scheduled, with everyone offering a helping hand. Our sponsors were quick to be part of this unique experience. Countless hours in the shed, rigging, checking, rechecking, then packing was spent on long, cold nights. But a trip of this magnitude requires such an effort and devotion and is well worth it. Local knowledge and experience is essential when planning a trip like this. Our good friend Brett Chain gave us priceless hours at his home going over maps, rigging and fishing the Great Barrier Reef. His experience of years fishing these mysterious waters cannot be bought. After months of planning and preparation, our 24-foot Caribbean trailer boat, Real Game, was now packed and ready to go. It was time to send her on her way, so we literally picked her up, put her on the back of a truck, and sent her off to Cooktown, where we would soon reunite for a month's worth of hardcore fishing. After leaving the comforts of our Sydney homes, we were finally reunited with Real Game. Our time had come, so she was lifted into the water and lay waiting for the month ahead.
Three and a half thousand k's later, and we finally got the boat in the water, and here we are in glorious Cooktown, ready to go fishing. And what do you know? It's blowing its backside off here. We've got winds of up to 30 knots, and it's forecast like that for the next week. So just for something different to start off with, we thought we'd run up the Endeavour River and see if we can score a few barra or mangrove jacks or whatever's around. We're not real familiar with the area, so we'll sort of have a look around and see what we can find. And we'll test out some of this gear and see if we can find some fish. But unfortunately at this stage, that's all we got for you, because the wind outside is a bit too heavy to get out there today, so hopefully in a few days time we'll be out there and chasing the big fish. See you soon. Most important things when you're fishing for mangrove jack and other stuff that frequent these shorelines is once you work a little area, there's no point keep flicking in the same hole. Have a few goes, and if you don't find anything, try somewhere else. That's why we just got Dennis with one motor on, just trickling down the shoreline, and we just keep working the edge of the bank as we go up. If we find an area where we're getting a few hits and a few bites, we'll tell them to pull up and we'll work that one area. There's no point stopping, there's no fish there. This river is very tidal, so it can really be affected by the moving tide, so you may as well just try and work the areas that hold fish, not just anywhere.
We're hooked up here. We've just been going down the banks of the Endeavour River, and Chris has hooked up to what looks like a nice trevally. So we're just trying to keep him out of the snags here and trying to get him to the bay. As you can see, it's a good fish. He's a really good fish. Okay, the gear we're using here is the Kuma V system.
Well done, guys.
Well done.
Nice looking fish.
There is golden trevally, is it?
Golden trevally, yeah.
First time I've ever seen one of these. First cast on the, what's that? The southern side of the river.
Yep.
Bingo. Gorgeous. All right, we're going to put him back anyway. There he goes. Just picked up a little cod in the reeds there, as you can see, and just hooked up something else. Bit more go in this guy. There we go, a bit of colour. Looks like a mangrove jack. And there he is. That's a good size jack, isn't it?
It is a good size, man.
Not the first cast of the day, but certainly won't be the last. We're actually driving into the tide and casting because of sort of boat size and drift and a few other factors. So just picked him up on the soft plastic there. Top fighting fish, mate. Definitely worth it.
Day 2 arrived and we were keener than ever to head out to the Great Barrier Reef after being restricted to river fishing on day 1.
Here we are, Saturday the 11th of October. We're doing our first day bait fishing out on the reef. We're trialling a selection of Rapalas, using our Kima B system rods and our great concept Rapala rods. We've done the job so far. We've already picked up a few nice scaly mackerels as well as a couple of Spaniards. So that one will keep the sucker, but everything else is going to be stored and kept for bait. Hopefully the Savo we can get out to the outer edge. It's still a little bit windy, so we'll see how the weather plans out for the Arvo, but at the moment it's a bit windy. And hopefully we can get out and have a go at some of these big fish. There's been a few caught today. We just heard of one on the radio that went 850 pounds by a bill collector. So hopefully we'll get amongst them. We're just going to switch over here to Dennis, and you'll see we're trolling out on the edge of the reef. What reef is this, Dennis?
We're actually on Emily Reef at the moment. We're probably about 15 mile from the outer edge, and we're just working down the edge of here collecting our bait. Like Anthony said, we're using the Rapalas with the V systems and just picking up some scalies and Spaniards.
There you can see here, this is paradise. We've got the reef here, we've got the reef all around us. That's why it's probably blowing around 20 knots at the moment, and the sea doesn't look nothing like it would as if we were off Sydney. That's the beauty of the Great Barrier Reef, it's all protected. Not the same story on the outer edge, but we might have to just put up with it out there, but in here, this is fisherman's paradise.
Picking up a few bait fish, and we've had a few larger fish come and take the gear as we've been sort of catching these scaly mackerel and that sort of thing. And this one screamed off with a bit of line, but oh, done him. What we've found, we've had to back the drag rod off. We've been pulling hooks out of these fish when we load them up too much. Look, this 50-pound braid. 50-pound braid. You know, you can put quite a lot of heat on them, but what happens then is you pull the hooks out. Here we go, we've got some colour. Looks like a mackerel. Just head up forward a bit, then left a touch. Oh, we're just going to bring them up beside the boat. The fish are about 3 kilos of drag. Seems to be a pretty comfortable weight.
Nice Spaniard. Watch his teeth.
Stuff, guys.
Away from you.
What a goer.
You would have seen Luke pulling the hooks on a nice size, what seemed to be Spanish mackerel. That's because these are 80-pound outfits and it's very easy with braid with no stretch to pull the hooks on fish when they're close to the boat. Even though we've got a little short shock leader, what we've had to do from now on is either reduce the drag back to 3 kilos or top shot our reels with mono, which gives you much more stretch. And we found once we put mono on the reels, which you'll see later on, we had virtually no pulled hooks at all. It was a much better success rate.
Only a couple of minutes later, and we got our first encounter with one of the genuine prime eating fish of the Great Barrier Reef, with Chris landing a lovely 5-pound coral trout.
Guys, we're just about to hit ribbon reef number 3, and before we get out there we're going to rig out a nice scaly mackerel that we just got. Nice fish, you can see him here. He's about 5 pounds, 6 pounds, nice little fish. Hopefully it turns into a big 500-600 pound black marlin, maybe even a grand if we're lucky. There you have it. One rigged, scaly mackerel, ready for the big fish. Now what we're going to do is put a circle in there and send her out.
With the sea temporarily abating, we finally would have a chance to get on the outside edge and chase the elusive black marlin.
Here we are on coming off ribbon number 3, and we're just about to start onto ribbon number 4. We're just starting to see a few boats now. A few boats have hooked up in the Lizard Island Classic. It's a bit lumpy out here, but it's fishable, and we're just making do what we can do. So, all right, the electronics we're using a 585 Faruna sounder with a 1 kilowatt through-hole transducer, which is giving us pretty good performance. We can read 400, 500 metres pretty easily with some good detail. And on our right here we've got the we're using the Faruna NavNet plotter with a 36 nautical mile radar, and also fitted with CMAP charts, so which gives us good detail of all the bombies and all the maps, and it gives us good navigation charts.
Earlier on you would have seen Anthony rigging up that scaly mackerel here on the bait board. That's all we've got out for skip baits at the moment. We've got our Tiagra 80W out to our clip, which is fixed, it's not running, so when a fish grabs hold of that it'll break away. We're running the baits sort of 20 metres behind the boat. You don't have to run them too far. Just sort of travelling with the sea at the moment. We're getting pushed along here a little bit, but it's starting to come in amongst a few boats that, according to the radio, have had a bit of action. So we're going to sit tight and hope we can get amongst them.
Unfortunately for us, it would not be our day. Surely we could not expect to hook up on our first day on the outside edge. So with the sea now rising, we return to port to replenish our supplies for the next big trip.
Well, we're approaching week 2 of our holiday up in Cooktown, and as you can see the weather hasn't been nice. It's still quite blowy, so the kind staff here at Seaview have been kind enough to let us through one of their units so we can show you folks at home where we're staying and the beautiful place that it is. Come and have a look.
The Seaview Hotel is situated on the Esplanade across the road from Cook's Landing, where Real Game was moored during our stay.
We're here at the Seaview Resort up at Cooktown in Far North Queensland in a beautiful pool, and we've been doing a lot of this lately because as you can see in the background it's blowing 25 knots of wind. That limits us to pretty much lazing around the pool and enjoying this wonderful resort. You would have seen by the pictures earlier, they've got beautiful rooms here, generous size with all the facilities you need, and then around here there's barbecues and all sorts of stuff to do, so it keeps us busy while the wind is blowing anyway. So it's a lovely place and glad to be here.
Cooktown was one of the first established towns in Australia, and it is still as beautiful and pristine as the day Captain Cook landed all those years ago. The wind would not let up, but we weren't going to let that stop us. With forecast winds from 25 to 30 knots, we decided to give it a shot anyway.
Oh, it's scaly. Oh, there's 2 there. No, that's a tuna. Oh, it's a big scaly, man. What the hell is chasing it? No, I don't know. Another big scaly or a tuna, man.
might have a bit of fun pulling him around on our riggers, but we'll give it a go.
Despite the winds, day 3 ended up producing one of our best bait gathering days yet. We didn't have to travel more than a couple of 100 yards before one of the rods would go off. Talk about fisherman's paradise. After a solid day gathering bait, it was time to explore what lies beneath. So we pulled out the snorkel gear and it was bottoms up. It truly is a unique experience exploring these untouched waters. With the crew refreshed and replenished, it was time to settle in behind ribbon number 3 for our first night on the reef.
Bass on pattern off the rig and a bit of fish bait. Good fun.
G'day guys, we're here on the reef. We've just woken up after anchoring up behind number 3 for the night. It's we've woken up to a wind of about 30 knots. As you can see, it's really howling out here this morning, so we're still a little bit restricted in what we can do. We're thinking about either doing a bit more bait fishing or maybe trialling some more lures and seeing if we can pick up a few more baits for outside fishing. But if you look out there, Chris, I'll just get you to come around here. Actually, you can really see it. If you look along the edge there, you can see the waves crashing on that outer edge. Now those seas are up around 3 meters at the moment easily. So as you can see, we're not going out there today. We'll sit it out for the next hour or so. We'll probably throw some baits in the water, and then we'll probably start trolling back towards home and seeing if we can get out of this wind, because it's really howling today and just not really the sort of conditions that we want to be fishing in. Okay guys, you would have seen at some stage us making up these scad rigs. Now I'm going to show you how we use them. We've hooked it up to an 80-pound outfit because you'll see these dam planters, they're going to put on a lot of pressure onto the reel, so we don't want to use the smaller outfits. Now I'll deploy it and then I'll show you how the down planer works. We'll put out the scad rig first. It's quite long, so you just got to feed it slowly. Out it goes. Now, Chris, I just want you to come around here and I'll show you what this down planer will do when it hits the water. We'll give it a bit of a shake around, it should catch straight now. Now you can see the pressure. Up and sit about 5 to 8 meters under the water. If we want it to go deeper, what we'll do, we'll get the bigger one out and we'll send it down even deeper. But for now, we'll try the small one and see if we have any luck with that. Hopefully we score some scad. So we've finally got a nice little scad on the scad rig. You can see the down planer here. You just trialled the top of number 1 ribbon, then I found a school of fish in the sounder, and this is the result. Sometimes you get a full load, sometimes you get one. For us, we're just happy to have one. Finally got one. I'll just show you the fish that I've been eating. They just popped out of his mouth, and that's what this fella's been eating. Those little things. So you can see it's very hard to catch them on big lures. You need to use the scad rigs, and then once they go deep enough, they'll come up and they'll nail these little pink squid. So we'll send it back out and we'll hopefully get another few of these. Now I'm going to show you folks at home just how simple it is to make a scad rig. All it is basically a paternoster rig with 6 droppers on it. You can see here with the end of your line, you've got your hook with a loop on it with the interchangeable little squid. Now you can use all sorts of different colours, or generally the pinks and greens works, but you can interchange them as you see fit, and then use the lures that works. You would have seen that we use the pink ones because they seem to work most of the time. So all it is, you've got your end loop there, then as you go through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 droppers, all with the same sort of arrangement, just with a simple knot with your little squid hanging off it, and then your hook. Then at the ends of it, all you've got is a loop connection which you hook on to your down planer like so. Simple as that. Send it out, catch your scad in no time.
After making another attempt at entering the outside edge, Mother Nature refused us entry yet again. So back to port we came, at least this time with a full supply of bait. We were locked, loaded and ready. With strong winds forecast, we decided to explore the inner reefs and really put our Akuma and Rapala gear to the test. If our window of opportunity were to open, we were sure to give the outside edge another shot.
We're just going down the edge of the 15-mile reef down here, trying to get some bait. We just started on the western side of it, just working our way outside, and hopefully the wind can die down and we can get out to the ribbons and maybe put a couple of baits out for marlin.
We're just running along just outside the reef. We're in around about 10 metres of water. The reef in there drops up to about 2 to 3 metres. We've got Chris up the top of the boat. I don't know if you can see that. Chris is up the top. He's keeping an eye out right now for any bombies that might be coming up. He's keeping an eye out and going to give you a yell by radio. He's got a radio up there handheld. He's going to give Dennis a call if we run into trouble or going close to a bombie.
Dennis spotted a heap of birds working a bait school along the edge of Osterland Reef. So with the Rapalas in tow, we knew it wouldn't take long before we'd be into some action. Within seconds, Dave was on. Even these smaller barracuda have razor sharp teeth, so even Dave, being the size he is, was scared to bring this little pesky fish aboard. Finally, it was my turn to have some fun. With the Akuma Radi exploding into action, I knew finally we were onto something good. didn't take long for a lovely giant trevally to surface. Dave did a great job on the gaff and it was in the bucket.
Now guys, that there is why we had to upgrade to the 80-pound outfit. That is a good solid GT. Can't go wrong with that. Okay, as you can see here, we've got the Rapala X-Wrap, which is doing most of the damage today. Picked up some nice scalies and a couple of GTs and nice Spanish mackerel, as you can see there. So we're going to be in some nice fillets of Spanish mackerel for the next couple of days. Also, we're using the Akuma V-System rods. Great outfit, having a ball.
The captain was on again. This section of Australian Reef was on fire, so we worked the area hard and it produced the goods. This time, Dennis scored a well-deserved GT.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Tough lift, man, tough.
This is the powerhouse of the Akuma range. You would have seen us account for a lot of big fish with this particular outfit. I would have no hesitation to use it for marlin and all sorts of things. It's a V80 with 80-pound braid set up with the V-System rod, which is a phenomenal 80 to 130-pound rating. These things can stop just about anything. Definitely one to have in your tackle collection. Barracuda, big barracuda. Yeah. Just lip him if you can.
We were a little skeptical about bringing the little barracuda aboard.
Him, guys.
Take a look at the teeth on this fella.
That is one mean looking fish, man.
I think we can safely say that we put the gear to the test. So with our mission accomplished, we return to port for a well-deserved rest. Day 6 greeted us with glorious conditions. The wind finally let up and we had an awesome run to Australian Reef. With our new team member Joe on board, we were eager and ready for what the day had in store for us. Joe couldn't have asked for a better start, with a solid hookup within 5 minutes of putting the Rapalas in the water.
You got colour?
No, big Spaniard. The big Spaniard, yep.
fish.
Terminal tackle and knots is just as important up in the Great Barrier Reef as anywhere else. If anything, it's more important up there with the sort of fish that you encounter. So our setup would entail your typical little Rapala X-Rap Magnum like this, joined with a little bit of wire, 30 centimetres to say 50-pound wire, single strand, joined with a haywire twist down this end, then a haywire twist up here, which attached to our swivel with about a foot of say 80-pound mono. We attach it to the swivel via a uni knot, and then down this end we'd have an Albright knot attached to a double in our braid, which was doubled via a bimini twist up this end. Very, very good combination, fail safe most of the time, up to 95%. We rarely lost fish on it, and it was one of the best combinations that you can use up on the reef. Here we are, 24th of October 2008. We're in the third week of our trip up in Cairns in Cooktown. As you can see, we're trialling the edges of the Great Barrier Reef again, just trying to collect some bait. You'll see later on we've got our new crew member Joe, who's here. He's filming now. He'll be here for the next couple of weeks, and the weather looks better finally, so hopefully we can get out on the outside edge and trial some baits for some marlin. At the moment we're just trialling a few Rapalas and X-Raps and the V-System rods and reels along these reef edges, just trying to get some scalies and whatever else we can get. Joe's already picked up a nice Spaniard. It was about 15 kilo this morning. No doubt you've already seen that on the camera. And hopefully for the rest of the day we can get some more bait and have a bit of fun. So we'll speak to you later on when we've got some more fish action happening. Cheers.
As you can see, we just hit mark here and it transfers the information over the GPS and it puts a waypoint in there. The advantages of having a good sounder and GPS in sync with each other.
Because this area is known to have dogtooth tuna, we're using the 80-pound V-System outfits because they're the only things that really will take this. The lighter rods won't really cope if we do hook up to a bigger one. And these Williamson feather jigs. Let's see how we go. Then I found a school of fish on the sounder on a big drop off, so we've been dropping these Williamson feather jigs down, and as you can see, look at that, nice big spangled. I just got smoked by something else that felt a lot bigger, so we're going to just work this area up and down now and see if we can score anything else with these feather jigs. But you can see that's a lovely spangled emperor. Unfortunately we're in finfish closure season, so we can't keep these fit, fellas, but hopefully we get a doggy or something. It's a nice good drop off, and we'll have another go and hopefully we score something a bit better. Not giving me an inch.
off him. We've changed the angle of the line, brought the fish up a little bit with the boat.
Yeah, oh, it's a big fish. Jeez. See colour, guys.
This reel's almost locked. The drag's almost locked on this reel.
Fish.
He goes up on the surface now.
Looks like a GT.
Yes! GT. Nice GT, probably about 6 kilos, 5 or 6 kilos. Absolutely swallowed Rapala. Just one more still shot for the sponsors, and we're going to throw this back. Make sure it gets away healthy. Ready? Yeah, go.
With a great morning session on the inner reefs, it was time to head through the rivets to the outside edge.
Here we are, our second chance at a marlin out on the edge of the Great Barrier Reef. We've been here for almost 3 weeks now, and this is only the second chance we've had, and this is the reason. You can see it's pretty rough and lumpy and windy. These are the sort of conditions we're confronted with out here pretty much on a daily basis, but for the next couple of days it shouldn't get much worse than this, in which case we might get a chance. So what we've done, we've got 2 baits out today. We've got a skip bait over on the right hand side, and we've got a swim bait over on the left hand side. The swim bait's out a bit further, just so we get a bit more action out of him, and then we've got the skip bait up close here. Now, hopefully a fish comes up and has a look, and we did see something swimming around earlier in the day, but it wasn't to be, so hopefully something's going to happen real soon.
Okay, as Ant was just saying, we're running 2 baits. We've got a swim bait this side, skip bait this side. The skip bait's had a hit, popped off the rigger, started losing line. Took a little while before the actual line started peeling off the reel. Seen a bit of a flash, we weren't sure what it was. Pull it back in, and all we've retrieved is what's left of the scaly. I think it's been cut through by something toothy. The flash that we seen looked like it was long and thin, so it could have been something like a wahoo. Cut straight through. Got our new one ready to go. 18-0 hook, circle hook. Got the wax thread hanging off, stitched up. This is going to be our skip bait. Hopefully you can get this. I'll just drop it into the water. Just going to run that right back. Now what we're going to do, we're going to make a loop in this line. We're going to do this 20 times. At 22. We're going to pop this into our clip. Just a quick release clip. That will go tight when the fish pulls it, and that will just release by itself. We leave the spool just off free spool so it doesn't overrun. So it's quite loose, the spool, or the drag on the reel. We pull that all the way up to the top. We bump up the drag just slightly so it doesn't overrun. You can see that's not going to overrun now. We do a drop back into the water, so we just peel the line off into the water. We just let that drop back about 10-15 metres, 10 metres say. Now all that excess line in the water is going to allow the fish to take it from the clip up the top. I'm just running a clip down here as well. We don't have to do that, but it saves tangles. So with that excess line in the water, when the fish takes this, hits the skip bait or the swim bait, and there's a heap of slack in the water, he doesn't feel any tension at all until the drag starts going. The drag's just off free spool, so it doesn't overrun. It won't feel pretty much any restriction at all. Run away for the fish, swallow the fish, then we can start putting up our drags to hook the fish.
One of the most important things about trolling up in the Great Barrier Reef is being versatile. Baits don't always work every day, and sometimes you need to cover more ground, and lures is the best option when you're doing that. We prefer to use the Pakula range of lures because they seem to work well and the fish seem to like them above all things. So the Pakula range comes in a complete different types of colours and lure heads. The types that we use up on the Great Barrier Reef are your bigger style, like your rat heads and your sprocket heads in your typical colours such as Lumo, Blue Angel, Violetta and your Toros. They're a very, very good range of lures and highly recommended, especially if you're going to use them. Pair them up with the new heavy duty dojo hooks. They're extremely sharp and extremely strong. If we get a chance a bit later on, we'll just show you how sharp they are. We'll see if we can drag some on the outside edge ourselves. Conditions allow and the baits aren't working, we'll definitely put the lures in the water and hopefully score a big black on them. In the meantime, while we have been pulling baits, you would have seen that we've been actually towing the dojo hybrids up the centre of our spread in between the two baits. Now this little fella here has been getting nailed by the wahoo population up on the reef. You can see here all that little bit of plastic has just been annihilated with the toothy critters such as wahoo. They love these little things. They look very much like a swimming scad. They perform flawlessly. They all come pre-rigged with the new heavy duty dojo hooks. Very good lures and highly recommended just for something different in amongst your bait spread. So we'll be trolling him for the rest of our trip as long as we are pulling baits. Oh guys, that's fishing. Just before we're about to go home, on the skip bait, it's come up, nailed it. You can see that it's a beaky because if it was a wahoo it just would have chopped off, but then grabbed it, just ripped it off. Slid the line up but didn't hook up. So unfortunately for us, have to try again. So close, but yet so far. With us finally getting our first marlin bite, the day drew to a close and it was time to return to port with great expectations of things to come. With our first taste of marlin still fresh on our minds, we hit the throttles and headed out on day 7. A quick freshen up of our bait supplies was a must, as today we will be centering our efforts on targeting the elusive giant black marlin.
Yeah, foul hooked him in the back of the head. That's why it was hard to bring in.
Prime scaly. Nice fat one for bait. These Rapala's doing really well. This little green snake diver, X-Wrap, you can see that real scream. It's doing the job again for about the third day in a row now. Every time it seems to come up goods for some reason. And that's like that, the green colours here on the reef. Must match the hatch of the bait fish that they're feeding on. There's another prime scaly bait. You see the size of him. He's going to be real fun to skip. I'll just show you the way. This fish has nailed that lure again. Now, it was about a week ago, we had some cheap lures and they weren't doing the job. We were trolling up and down these reefs and couldn't do nothing, couldn't catch anything. So we got Chris from Rapala to send us up a few more lures, and straight away at 7:30 in the morning we've already got a good supply of bait. Can't complain about that. The Rapala's are doing the job again. Hopefully we'll get a few more baits and hopefully some GTs along the way as well. Here we go, only 2 minutes later. And again, the green one smashed in this short corner. There you have it. 2 minutes later, after throwing 2 scalies, you just saw one still jumping in the box there. Another prime eating fish, Spanish mackerel. Nailed, once again, the little green Rapala X-Wrap. This little X-Wrap in the gold green mackerel has accounted for over 80% of the fish that we trolled up on the reefs. That must be because it matches the hatch of the bait fish that the actual predators are feeding on up there. It's a very good lure and one you must take with you when you go up to the Great Barrier Reef. We just hooked up on the little 30-pound outfit on a decent fish. You know, give it to him, this fish, because I don't want him going near that reef. You can really see the bend on this rod. Good fish. It's gone off on the shotgun on another little Rapala deep diver. This is the older style one with the metal bibbed head. It just goes to show that even the older style lures still catch fish. This fish has really got some good weight to him. I don't know if he's foul hooked out or not, we'll soon find out, but he's got some really nice weight. All we have to get, when this fish comes up, we'll get Dennis to come around with the gaff and put a little gaff in him, if we're going to keep him. Otherwise, if we're going to let him go, we'll just grab him by the lips if we can. See the head thumps on this fish. He really does not want to come that bait. I've got this little reel just about to full up now. I won't go any more, I'll pin him. Yep, yeah. He's up there, catch.
Well done, mate.
Prime. Great Barrier Reef GT. Probably about 10-15 kilos. He's got some weight. Let me tell you, I'm holding him up. And he's got some weight on him. So look at that. A Rapala again. Old style lure. Little magnums. They do the job. What can I say? Little outfit can handle big fish like that. That's what it's all about. So we'll get a few happy snaps and let this fella go. Hopefully we'll get him swimming away for you. The amount of power these little Akuma V-System A65s can put on fish paired up with these Rapala braid concept rods in the 10 to 20 kilo range is absolutely phenomenal. You would have seen by the GTs that we were catching that they have some real pulling power. We spooled up ours with 40-pound braid, then simply again with the Rapala Magnum lures, a little bit of wire with a haywire twist again, joined up to a little bit of a mono shock leader. Absolutely phenomenal arrangement. Cannot go wrong.
With our bait supplies now topped up, we heard on the radio of some giant black marlin already being caught on the outside edge. So with the baits in the water, it was time for us to head out ourselves. Our adrenaline was flowing high, with reports coming thick and fast over the radio of giant blacks being caught all over the place. We would flinch at the slightest movement in the water.
Yep.
We knew something was going on, with baits regularly getting knocked out of the riggers, but unfortunately for us, not converting to hookups.
Yep, we're on. Yep, we're hooked up. Woohoo! I see him jumping at the back. Yeah, we're on, baby! Yeah! There you go, yes! Oh, yeah! Yeah! You can throw it up a bit if you want. Yep, he's just pressing in one place. Just throw it up a bit. There he is, there he is. He's going away from the boat. He's going away from the boat. Turn around. Ready? Yeah, he's porpoising back that way.
As you can see, we're finally hooked up. We've got a nice fish on. Don't know how big he is yet, maybe around 400. He's a nice fish. He did some mad jumps earlier. Dave's doing really well on the rod so far, so hopefully we can get this fish up next to the boat and show you folks at home what this is all about. But we heard of some fish down south. Dano's been trailing into the head sea, and we finally come up tight. He took the swim bait, popped off the rigger, absolutely nailed it. And now Dave's doing really well on the rod, taking line. Well, we're going to circle this fish and see if we can get him up next to the boat and get a tag shot on him. We're using wind on leaders, so hopefully I can get close enough, stick a tag in him, and we'll get him up, cut him free after we get him next to the boat.
You know, he's down deep. I'll go out further that way. Take
Good fish, man. He's a good fish. Left hand down a touch. Left hand down. Just sign up a little bit. Right up. We have the fish up top now, guys. You would have seen a little jump, so hopefully we can get him to do a little bit more acrobatics for us. So we got him on top. Dano's doing really well on the wheel, playing this fish up. He went deep for a second. Now Dano's got to get back to line. Coming up, Dano. Coming up.
This fish was fighting weird. Something was wrong. It was darting all over the place. Then the unthinkable happened.
Goes down. Oh, he popped it! Just there, look. Just there. Look, see?
There he is there. There he is there. He's still up top.
Okay, as you should have seen just then, we're on that fish, 10, 15 probably. It's a decent fish. It's our first one, so it's really unlucky now, but we've had the leader pop on us. We thought we just pulled a hook. We've dragged it back in, we've been cut straight through. Now a marlin hasn't got teeth. This can't get done by a marlin. There's no bill marks up this end of it, so it hasn't been worn through by any bill. After we popped this, we've seen the marlin thrashing on the surface. We've headed over towards it now, and you probably can't see us in the camera, but there's a big patch of oil and blood here. We believe it's got sharked. This probably must have been a shark. You can see it's been cut straight through. There's a big patch just there anyway. There's all blood in that area, so we believe it's been sharked. Like I said, billfish can't do that, so I'm going to put them back out, try again. Have that first solid hook up. Decent sized fish. It's only early, but so have another go.
Well, we've had a fantastic day. We finally hooked up first beaky today. We hooked up a nice 400-500 pounder at the front. We fought him for about 20 minutes. Dave did a really good job on the rod. Dano did a really good job on the wheel. We popped him off because he got sharked after about 20 minutes. We just saw a big pool of blood and a pack of sharks came in and took him, and that was it. And they cut our line too. So as you can see, during the day we caught some nice Spanish mackerel, and now we're cooking up a feast. So we're going to sit down and relax and celebrate the first fish that we've actually fought and had a bit of fun with. Hopefully tomorrow we can hook one and stick a tag into one tomorrow, but today we'll just sit back and relax and enjoy the beautiful Great Barrier Reef. Joe's doing a great job on the cooking.
Do some French fries here. It's better than Macca's here. You see?
Nice chibbies, we've got some nice Spanish mackerel, creamy salad. Mate, can't go wrong. This is a gourmet meal. See you guys tomorrow. Now here are all the essential items if you plan to chase giant black marlin on the Great Barrier Reef on stand-up tackle. You need a good 80 size reel, 80W size reel like this Shimano Tiagra, paired up with a very solid 80-pound stand-up rod with a short bent butt, absolutely critical. You need a 600-pound wind-on leader that must be extremely good. The guys up at Top Shop make a really good wind-on leader, which we use and recommend. Then, because you're using a wind-on leader, you can use a shorter length of say 1 metre, 600-pound trace with a loop connection of an 18-0 hook with just a little bit of protection over the crimp itself. Very, very important to have all these things in sync when you're fishing for giant black marlin. Then once you hook up, on goes the AFCO harness, which is rated to 130-pound stand-up. You would have seen Dave handle that fish with ease, that bigger fish. Not a worry at all. These are all the essential requirements you need when you're chasing giant blacks on the Great Barrier Reef.
After a good night's rest, we shoot over to No Name Reef for a quick session on the GTs. The marlin fishing normally doesn't start till midday up in these waters, so we had the morning to play with. Joe was hanging to get his first GT of the trip. Shortly after, we were onto a double hookup and Joe and Dave picked up the rods. Unfortunately for Joe, he drew the short straw of the deal and landed the smaller of the two GTs.
He's a monster.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Hold him up. Go, Davo.
Camera.
Good fish. Get the good camera out for this one.
Jesus Christ, he's 20 something for sure. Oh.
Yeah. Yes! Hold him, don't let him go tiger. Yeah.
last morning reef session an absolute ripper. We could feel it in our blood that today was our day. With the last afternoon marlin fishing ahead of us, we knew we had to make this one count. It was do or die. It was our time.
Let it go, there's something on that bait.
Yes, right, look.
It's a marlin, man.
It's a marlin, look.
It's the same one as this one, man.
Is it?
It's the same one as this.
Really?
Yep, it's on this one. Go.
No, he's let go of this one.
Bring it in.
It's tangled up.
Here he is.
He's here, look.
Bite. Start the bait. Drop it in.
Drop it in.
Go the other side. He's got that bait in his mouth, mate. He's got your bait in his mouth. He's there, look. The sun, man, the sun. Jack, get on the other side. Jack, move side, Jack. Sorry. Left side, Jack. The other side, Jack. Back down. Go right a bit. Left hand down, swim and left. He's right there.
Come on.
Come on. Tags in! Yes! We did it!
in, he's
There
out
we
of
go.
here.
A nice
A bit of
fish.
damage to his bill, unfortunately, but he's out of here.
Don't mind the blood. That he wasn't bleeding, that fish. He threw his guts up as soon as he felt that fish in the mouth. That we used circle hooks for that, and the hook was nice in the corner of the mouth. It was one of those tin hooks, so as soon as we cut him free, that'll rust off in a few days time and he'll be swimming around like normal again. So well done, Davo. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, mate.
First marlin on the Great Barrier Reef. Can't complain about that.
That was 80 stand up
80 stand up, guys.
in a shocking sea.
So you can see it's pretty rough, and we've done it.
No harness, no gimbal.
Not even a harness. We did that in about 5 minutes, guys. No mucking around here, no harness. We didn't even have time for it. So we've done it. We'll see if we can get another one now, hopefully. But yeah, we've let one go. He was about 250 pound, a nice fish. Not the biggest fish that we'll see, but mate, that's great for us. We're stoked. So see you soon, guys. Well, we've had an absolute ball up here on the Great Barrier Reef. Hope you did too, Dennis.
Had a great time.
And I hope you folks at home enjoyed it as much as we did. This place is definitely an amazing place to visit. The weather wasn't as kind as it could have been. We only got to spend about 5 days on the outside edge in the 4 weeks we were here. But other than that, we had some great fun on the inner reefs and in the river. You had some great fishing on the reef yourself, Dennis?
We had some great action. We had some good GTs, some Spanish mackerel, a lot of coral trout, a lot of snorkeling, so we've made the best of our time up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Snorkeling was fantastic. The fish we seen down there was just unbelievable. Dave got a massive GT, as you would have seen, around 20 kilos. You can't complain about that. The marlin fishing was great as well. We got to see a giant black marlin get eaten by a pack of sharks, which was absolutely phenomenal. We got to have some fun with some other marlin up here, the giant blacks. They're just amazing. It's just a place that you have to visit at home, and one not to be missed in a lifetime. So get up here and see what it's all about for yourself. See you around the traps.